What's up everybody, Kinetic here, and welcome to a little discussion piece about two of the biggest up-and-coming ARPGs coming from the east over here to the west. Of course, I'm talking about Lineage Eternal and Lost Ark. I made a significant comparison video recently that went over both of these games, uploaded the trailers also to kind of link to that video here on my channel, and I thought while we wait on this really long hype train, because we are still far away from our destination, I would like to, at the very least, just kind of spark some conversation here a little bit while, like I said, while we wait for more things to kind of pop up regarding Lineage Eternal and Lost Ark. And I've got a very small piece of news. Maybe you've already heard of it, and I thought this would be kind of maybe a little bit satisfying as a discussion piece, and maybe a little bit even reassuring to those that I haven't heard of anything regarding Lineage Eternal or Lost Ark since those two trailers. Really, there has been next to nothing, and I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I should have started the video off by saying I've got no real major news. I've got no release date or anything like that here for either one of these games. I got no beta invites or anything like that. God knows I wish I did. If I did, oh man, I would love to make you guys happy by passing out that kind of awesome access to beta right now for these games. Nope, unfortunately all I've got is this tiny little piece of news that came out. I think June 22nd was the date of the article on MMOculture.com, saying that Lineage Eternal focus group tests begin today in South Korea. Again, this was late June, June 22nd, according to the date here by Cinderboy on the website. And this is very interesting, I think, news, and also, like I said, a bit reassuring for a couple of reasons. For one, it's nice to hear, of course, that the game is being tested. This is probably one of the earliest, if not the earliest, phase of testing where a developer is going to start to expand beyond their own in-house developers who are, of course, testing it at the same time. What they're doing is kind of, like I said, a really early testing group, which is kind of unique from what I've ever heard of testing, and that they're using students from a local university's game education center to come in and test the game. And also what's interesting that they mention here is that it says, to prepare for the game's global launch, there are foreign students as well. Now, in case you didn't know, Lineage Eternal, or I should say NC Soft in particular, has promised that Lineage Eternal is going to release simultaneously worldwide. This is a big deal for this game because, well, if you have been kind of paying attention to Korean games in general, like online games, they tend to be staggered. They usually come out in Korea much earlier, and then the West, like North America and Europe, wait months and months, even a year or more, to actually see a release with updates, you know, also staggered from one region to another. This is really fantastic. To have a simultaneous release for a game like this, I think, is really awesome. It's probably not that great for Korean gamers because that means they have to wait for localization for all these other regions, but it's better for us because I think that this will kind of hurry up the process a little bit more, so that way the Koreans aren't waiting that long. Overall, the release for the West, I think, is going to mean a shorter wait by it being a simultaneous release like this. So having it mentioned that foreign students are involved because game's global launch just really helps to, like I said, give us a little bit of a sense of relief that this game is still on track for a simultaneous release. Lost Ark, on the other hand, not only do we have no information since G-Star, it seems, at all. Nothing has been mentioned, and I take that as a sign of just that the developers are really deep in the development process and are working incredibly hard to try and get this game up into a playable state that they can share, like Lineage Eternal has right now. We're able to, well, maybe not openly, but in certain situations, they've put out playable versions of Lineage Eternal, not just on the PC version, but also for the smartphone and smart tablet versions as well. That's another cool thing, aside from the simultaneous release, is the other platforms that Lineage Eternal is going to be released on. They've made these really interesting controls, I think, that can be used in both a touchscreen sense or just simply from keyboard and mouse, where you're clicking or touching and dragging to perform some skills if you like, but it doesn't actually have to be like that forced. Probably the controls for PC and for keyboard and mouse on PC will be more traditional, like what you would expect from, for example, a Diablo game or something like that. But yeah, as far as Lost Ark goes, there's nothing at all, and I think that really makes sense because, as far as I know, Lineage Eternal has been in development much longer than Lost Ark has. The fact that they've got a playable version, they've got focus group testing and stuff like that. I believe that while both games are expected to release next year, the testing, right, and the release for Lineage Eternal seems to be ahead of Lost Ark, and the actual release, therefore, of course, will be considerably earlier than Lost Ark, which to me is actually kind of cool. I wouldn't think it would be smart or healthy for us as gamers. It wouldn't be smart for the developers to try and release their game too close to one another, as far as like a competitive thing or whatever against one another. And I think if both games were released somewhat close to each other, I might just die from a lack of sleep and eating. I'd be so in deep with these games. These are the two games I am looking most forward to out of anything else. Ever since I've seen these trailers, my mind was blown, my jaw hit the floor. I'm a big fan. Obviously, I'm covering ARPGs in detail, especially in great detail here on the channel. And with the promise of these games coming over to the West, it's really, really exciting. I can't wait to be able to get my hands on these games. Again, that's kind of why I'm making this video, just as a discussion piece. I know some people probably already dislike this video because I've got really nothing to offer as far as anything exciting, but like I said, it's a long hype train ride to get to our destination for either one of these games. We may see Lineage Eternal in testing for us in the West, maybe, and this is just wishful thinking, maybe by the end of this year, but it's probably more likely to be something like spring or something like that. And overall, I'm kind of thinking that it may be like a summer release for Lineage Eternal or something like that. As far as Lost Ark and its release, there isn't, unfortunately, the promise of a simultaneous release, but all signs, if not an actual confirmation, I can't remember actually at this point, but all signs, if not a confirmation, absolutely, is that Lost Ark is going to be localized for North America and for Europe, but it is more than likely going to be staggered, hopefully not too staggered, like something like a 2016 for Korea and then 2017 or whatever for North America and Europe. Hopefully it's not that long, but with Lineage Eternal, it's looking really, really nice. I have seen comments around various parts of the internet, including of course my own videos, and there seems to be a considerable amount of people that are on board more with Lost Ark than they are with Lineage Eternal. I think a large part of that has to do with the fact that the trailer for Lost Ark showed so many different things. It showed so much content, where Lineage was a little bit more kind of cut and dry, maybe a little bit too dry, right? Like maybe they needed to spice up those trailers, but they probably had absolutely no idea what was coming from Lost Ark, so there's that as well. But I'm expecting definitely that when they start coming out with new trailers for Lineage Eternal, they're going to be showing off a lot more. So far what we've seen looks really amazing, and I kind of like that these games are almost a bit like within the same genre, but almost opposites of one another. You have Lost Ark, for example, which looks very vibrant and almost like a kind of happy, sparkly, but no doubt full of danger kind of fantasy world. Again, these vibrant colors, where compared to Lineage Eternal, it's much darker and grittier looking from what we've seen. Even a little bit, I would say, a little bit more on the realistic side as far as like the color tones and the lighting and stuff like that. But you know, at the end of the day, for me personally, again, it's going to be the difference between like a cheeseburger and a chicken sandwich or something like that. Like, I think they're both going to be absolutely delicious, you know, and I'm going to be holding both of them in my hands and eating them at the same time. You know, you guys can definitely expect, especially if you're my subscribers here on the channel, you can definitely expect to see more news whenever we get more news, gameplay and stuff like that right here on my YouTube channel. There's nothing that I'm more hyped for than Lineage Eternal and Lost Ark as far as games to play and content to make. So I hope that you guys are on board, and if anything, I'd really like to kind of get a head count as we go through these kind of news and discussion videos. You know, let me hear your voice as far as like which game are you excited for? Are you excited for both games? What are your predictions, if any, for either one of these games? Let's get the conversation ball rolling, and who knows, maybe we start sparking conversation now all the way into leading up to the release of these games. That would be pretty awesome to recognize a number of you and maybe even start gaming with you, possibly in a guild or whatever, as Lineage Eternal and Lost Ark come out. Let me know your thoughts in general in the comment section below. Click the like button to support these discussion, news, and whatever I can find about Lineage Eternal and Lost Ark videos here on the channel. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.